Well, having lived here 47 years and grew up, of course, in Nevada, went through our school system in Nevada, I believe that our schools that are within our neighborhoods that we happen to live in are very, very good schools. You know, I don't believe that we need to start thinking right now about school voucher programs because it's going to cost us some money. Right now, we got to concentrate our efforts on a few things that are going to correct the problem and the deficit that we currently have. School voucher, it's just going to get very complicated. You're going to add more people to it. And at this present time, we have more serious issues to think about than that, in my personal opinion. I believe that our school district right here has done a fair job, doing a fair job. I do believe, though, that they're wasteful. And there are ways that even on a state level, yes, we can push a little bit of pressure down and take a look at all of these things and maybe make some changes. You know, the quality of our lives is being removed right out from under us because of so many different things and because of the economy. There are so many of their small businesses out there that are struggling just to keep those doors open. You know, those are some of the items right now that are the biggest issues. 90% of our business out there are the small business operators. They're using family members just to do 3-hour time spans so that they don't have to hire an individual and pay all of the cost associated with it. You know, I've watched them lose their homes just to keep their doors open. It's a sad frightening thing, and we seriously need to look at those. You know, our teachers are doing a great job. Our school district is doing a fair job. You know, we just need to seriously take a look at some of the wastefulness that's going on and correct it at that level.
My dad is Marv Menendo. My dad was a 100% disabled veteran from the Korean War. We were almost homeless when I was growing up. If it wasn't for, you know, some government assistance, we would have been on the streets. With that said, my dad, after he had his business and he went to the war, and then he had to get retrained. And so we moved out of our town that we lived in, and we moved to another city. And he went to school. He went to a trade school. I think we have to get back to basics. Not every child is going to go on to college. We've pushed so hard. When I grew up here, when I went to Chaparral High School in Senate District 7, it was pushed and pushed and pushed that you have to be on a college plan. Not everybody, you know, I had classmates that didn't really want to go to college. In the company I work for in the private sector, we have employees that make a really decent wage. When we have work, they're making $60,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year fixing cars. They're not college educated, but they had some type of training. I mean, but it's when you don't even have the basics, when we're trying to push, you know, physics and calculus on a child who is having trouble speaking English language, that child feels like a failure. And you know what? No child should be a failure. Just because they're not going to, you know, be on that course of college doesn't mean that they can't be successful tax-paying citizens of this country where they can go out, make a living, feed their family, and have a home and have a career. Not a job, a career where they can make more money than a lot of people I know, including myself. They make a lot of money. I think that's one of the things. Our trade schools are great. I went to a trade school. Even when I went to a trade school, I was still pushed into the college agenda. I think back now, I mean, we all think back about things. If I would have changed maybe a different path, I think personally I would be making more money than I am now. But I was just, you know, the counselors, everybody was just feeding you that you had to go into that direction. So I think we need to really just get back to basics. We need to let children try to be more responsible. Parents need to be more responsible for their own child's life. Teachers are doing a great job. I spend time in the schools in my district, and I'll tell you what, after being there like 3-4 hours, I'm just mentally and physically exhausted. I don't know how they do that every day. But, you know, thank God that we have people that want to do that job for, you know, $32,000, $33,000 a year, because that is a tough job. kids are moving in and out, parents are moving in and out of this town. They don't have the same kids throughout the school year. When we had a new kid come into our classroom back in the 80s, it was, wow, we have a new child in school. When I was growing up, we never had a new student. Now, if you have half the same class when you started, that's amazing. So you never know where they've come from. I don't mean just in Nevada. They might have come from other parts of the country. You almost have to start over every week with a new child. You can't just say, okay, well, you came in, a month into the school year. We're going to just, you don't count. So juggling that's a tough sell. So, but I think everybody needs to get involved, businesses included. Thank you, Mark Menendo.
So, yes, Don Wilbright. We'll start with you, Mark, since you were the last one speaking. As you know, the state of Nevada's income is primarily generated through the casinos and also the construction. And as you know, there's just been cuts. If you were elected and the governor came back to the assemblyman, the state assemblyman, and said, hey, look, we need to make another cut or we need to raise taxes, what would you do? And the first question, Mark, is can you tell me what the budget is currently? And the question for everyone here is, would you raise the taxes, cut the services, and how would you do it? Thank you.
Mark Menendo, thank you. I think we need to prioritize. We have to go back to prioritizing what we feel is important in the state of Nevada. Our children important, our seniors important, our veterans important. I'm sure there's a lot of things out there that you may think, I may think that is just not on our top 10 list, but maybe to some people there are. We're talking about cutting, school sports activities, extracurricular activities. Is that more important, less important than maybe making sure that we have a teacher that is not a substitute teacher in the classroom? These are really tough decisions that we have to address in the legislature. We've relied so much on the boom and bust cycle. You're absolutely right. We've relied so much on the boom and bust cycle in Nevada, where we are so reliant on gaming. When gaming is down, we're down. Our economy's down. When tourists aren't coming like we want to, like we hope they will, revenues are down. When construction is down, like some of the trades, they have 65% unemployment in the trades, they're down. Finding solutions is going to be extremely difficult in these tough economic times. One of the things we need to do as far as looking at any type of tax breaks that are on the books. If you have any tax break to corporations that outsource out of Nevada, out of this country, I think we really have to take a hard look on if that is proper or not. Do we continue to give away the farm? Basically, you pay taxes, I pay taxes. Should somebody get a tax break that is outsourcing out of the state? We need to look at those things. The solutions aren't going to be easy. I hope that we're going to be able to put a lottery on the ballot eventually. We were talking about, we have to find creative ways to plug our holes. One way, obviously, would be a state lottery. Another way, obviously, and I talked about earlier, is creating jobs. If you create jobs, you can plug the holes. Jobs are the best economic recovery we can ever have in this country. When my grandparents when my mom was young, my grandparents, during the Depression, if it wasn't for our work programs, that helped, obviously, in World War II, get us out of the Depression. I think this country, when we talk about the stimulus, and looking at the bigger picture of Nevada, I think the stimulus projects, stimulus packages that, if we do get another one, should be directly into jobs that are going to be happening now. Not later, not 10 years from now, now. So I think that's one of the ways. What else we can cut, I really don't know.